We'll go ahead and get started on this Appropriations, Economic Development. Thank you for being here for a timely matter. And we'll go ahead and start. At first, I want to introduce Rosa Roundtree. She's the Acting Executive Director of State Road and Toway Authority. Would you like to come and make some comments to us, Ms. Roundtree? Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman, for having me here and all members of the board and the committee. From the State Road and Tollway Authority, we are not here for appropriations. The State Road and Tollway Authority are funded from the tolls that are collected from the toll road. But we want to come in and just see some of the new members and talk to them and introduce ourselves to let you know that we are over there as a resource. If there's any information you need to know about transportation, I work closely with Chairman Smith on transportation as well. So we're trying to make sure we're not reinventing the wheels when it comes to transportation, but learning some of the lessons that are learned out there from the other toll authorities and the state DOTs that are out there. So again, thank you for inviting us. We are not here to ask for money. So I knew someone would appreciate that. But to let you know that we are there and we are a resource if you're ever looking for any information regarding toll financing or tolling, period, for the state of Georgia. Thank you.
Ms. Roundtree, let me see if any committee members have any questions. Anybody have any questions for her that's on their mind? Chairman Smith, what mic number are you?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to say for Ms. Roundtree, I met Ms. Roundtree last year. She comes here, Georgia, with a lot of experience from the state of Florida, and we've had meetings there in Florida. And she's been very helpful so far, and we continue to look forward to working with her through SERTA.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start on the amended portion of the budget, and I think Director Steve Stancil's here, and we're glad to have him here, and if he would like to address the committee.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'll be real brief. We're not even listed in the tracking document this time on the amended budget. The only change is $2,647 for workers' compensation adjustment. We'll take more if you got it.
Do you have any you need to give back?
No, I think we're all good with that.
No lapse funds that you know of?
I think y'all have already gotten that. You know, the governor's pretty good about taking that money that's just laying around and putting it to good use. So,
okay, tell us what you've been doing, Director Stancil.
Well, we're real proud of our express service. I guess you've seen the big buses with a big blue X on them running up and down the highway. We've got, about 48 buses on the road right now. We've got 26 that are on the line being built right now. And our ridership is somewhere around 3,000 passengers a day. All the vans and the van pool that used to sit down by the airport, they're all full. We got 55 vans that we're running, so we're taking about 500 cars off the road with the van pool. We continue to work with our partners at GDOT and SRTA and the ARC as we work on our plans for transportation. Ms. Roundtree is going to take a group of us next week, and we're going out to San Diego to look at some of their stuff out there, paid for by federal grants, so y'all aren't having to pay for that. And, is that right, Rhoda? So, she's doing a real good job out there getting that money for you. So.
Federal tax dollars?
Yes, sir. I'm sure they are. But we're going to put them to good use. I mean, we're not going to be out there catting around and be gone 4 or 5 days. We're just going to go out on Sunday and come back Wednesday. So we're not going to be no time for any fun, unfortunately. No, we only 3 nights, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night.
You know you're on TV, Director Stancil?
Yeah, I noticed y'all were doing that now, and that's real progressive. I'm glad to see y'all doing that. That makes it real nice for the folks back home to be able to see what's going on down here.
One of the members said they hoped you took the red eye to save the federal tax dollars.
We won't be on the red eye coming back. We're leaving about 1 o'clock. But if we stayed on the red eye, we'd have to pay that extra night's lodging. So Miss Roundtree, she's got this thing planned. I mean, just down to the minute. I'm gonna need a day off when I get back just to recuperate, I'm sure.
Good. Any other questions for the director here? Any comments? Okay. Thank you for being with us.
Y'all.
Good to see you again.
Good to see y'all.
Okay, we have Assistant Commissioner Larry Dent with us and his budget folks, and we'll bring him on up and address the committee.
I'm just glad to know that Director Stansell's got some money in his budget to be able to go somewhere. We don't have enough money in our budget in DOT to go anywhere, so. Okay.
Thank you. I'm surprised he didn't invite you.
Two of his members are going with us.
Okay.
Thank you, Angela. What Angela's passed out is the amended 2006 budget recommendations from the Department of Transportation. If you turn to the last page, I think that kind of sums up where we intend on putting the amended funds, which are a direct result of collection of motor fuel tax in this state that exceeded our expectations in 06. The total amount that was collected that was exceeded was about 60. Let me see there, 63. No, 60. It's on the second line. It's $60,940,019. And if you go to the second column, as you're well aware, in paving our way home that the governor rolled out a couple of weeks ago, 22,000 of that went into our LARP program, which increased from 38 million to 60 million. I said 22,000, that was 22 million. And then our state aid category in our state fund construction off system, we increased from $18,562,534. We increased it $15,437,466 to a total of $34 million. And then state aid fund most needed went from $6,583,667. We increased that by $16,416,333 to move that to $23 million, which makes the total in state aid for 06 $117 million. And that, in my tenure in the department, is one of the largest numbers, at least in the top 2 or 3 in history. So we're certainly going to put more money towards local assistance to local governments with this increase. If you drop on down, the other 3 categories where we had changes was we had some facilities in our district. We amended in $322,788 for our district office that we're building in Toway, Georgia. This will be some supplemental funds for design and other aspects of that work. State Road and Toll Authority, we estimate every year our bond payment to them, and this year it was $1,568 less, so that changed that line item. And then on our general obligation bond indebtedness, we had to pay $6,765,000, kind of an escrow payment for to buy a variable rate bond, which we hadn't bought at this point in time. We're waiting for the interest rates to go down, but that will be the escrow for that. Be glad to entertain any questions that anyone might have about that.
Any questions from the committee?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Dent. I'm getting some inquiries, and I just wanted to ask you about the paving the way home. I know you've got various formulas, but can you tell us without hesitation that all 159 counties are going to receive some of that funds, A, and then B, what would you recommend the correct procedure for those governments to get their name in the hat, so to speak?
The LARP funding is predetermined. That's a formula based on population and road miles in your county and in your city, and that's predetermined amount, and all 159 counties will get that. There's 2 or 3 cities that don't request it for whatever reason. Sometimes what they get is so small because when you take the population of a very small city with low road mileage, that might be just a couple of $1,000s. So they might wait 2 or 3 years before they come in and ask for one road to be paid. But every county will get money out of this, and almost all the cities. There'll be a few cities that won't answer that. And that's on the LARP fund. That's the most equitable distribution of funds that I'm aware of. Now, state aid is a little bit different because in state aid it is a 50-50 formula. Usually the county or the city brings half the money to the table, and we fund the other half. And not all counties are able to come up with that kind of money because some of them, their SPLOST program doesn't cover transportation, or their tax base is not such that they can match those funds. So not every county walks in the door, but a majority of them, when they have needs, when they come in the door, we will assist them. And we try to work as close as you can off of a formula base, but it just doesn't work because some of the counties can't, they don't have enough projects or a project that they can afford to do this year. They might have to wait 2 or 3 years to do a major project in their county. But LARP is very equitable. The others tend to be whoever has a SPLOST that can afford to match the funds. It's a 50-50 match usually. And
they need to come see you by when?
Well, if they are already on the calendar, I've missed it because my calendar, the commissioner's calendar, is full for the next month. I can assure you, because ACCG has got a week coming up, and cities are coming in, so we're seeing people every day right now. But from now till July.
Thank you.
Okay, Representative Martin, Zone 6.
Thank you, Commissioner. Question, just to follow up on Chairman Reinder's question. I believe LARP will basically just go deeper down the list that the cities and counties had already presented by formula. I know, being a former mayor, we sent in the roads that would qualify because they were needed, and you being the department would go as far down the list for the city of Alpharetta as the money would allocate, or to the county and so forth. So basically those roads are already in the mix. You'll just take these new dollars and go further down the list proportionally as prescribed by the authority.
That's correct. LARP lists were submitted in September. Right. The cities and counties submitted their list in September to us. They submitted $175 million worth of requests at that point in time, so you can do the math as well as I can. $60 million is not going to cover that list, so we go down those lists based on that formula amount. And I will tell you, some portion of that additional amount has been usurped by the increase in AC prices and diesel fuel prices for the asphalt companies to haul. So there's some of that that's getting usurped by other means and being able to expand your list. But there will be a definite increase in the amount of mileage that we'll be able to resurface this year, definitely.
If I may, you answered the question. I know that the prices may have increased, but my point would be, to the counties and the cities out there, they need not resubmit anything. The LARP money will just
not
continue down the list as far as it goes.
Absolutely not.
It's the off system and the most needed that there may well be an opportunity for a resubmission of some sort.
That's correct. They have the list, and we've already evaluated their request, and so we're in the process of filing out those lists of how much we can do off those lists now on LARP.
Thank you.
Representative Forrester.
$53 million to $68 million. It's an increase of 20%. And I was just want to get just some more detail of why we have a 20% administration of for the department. 20% pay increases, or on the tracking document, that would be line 311. You guys want to follow along with me?
I think I'm going to use one of your terms. The best I can understand, that's a housekeeping issue where we have to move funds to get them into the right category, because when we set our budget up, you're a year ahead of time. You don't know exactly how they get expended, so you have to move them into the right category. So it's a lot like your housekeeping bills, just to comply with the rules and the law.
So it's moving funds from the state highway system construction and improvement?
Right. Into the administrative arena.
It's just a housekeeping issue where we are actually trying to format the budget. You know, last session we went through a budget format change.
With a priority performance-based budgeting.
So what we're doing is just moving all of the administrative functions into one program. So
Oh, I see.
the department being reorganized.
Okay, that makes sense.
For that.
So you had administrative costs that were in the state highway system construction improvement area that need to be categorized properly. Thank you. I was going to need to get a position at DOT for a 20% pay increase.
Any other questions? Comments? Bobby?
Let me ask you something. Go through with me, if you will. When a city or county turns in a priority list, you don't actually go on their priorities. You go and evaluate the roads. They may have one as number one priority, but it's not the most needed. Is that correct? How do you do that?
Right. We have a rating system that looks at the condition of the road. It looks at the number of residents, businesses, churches, schools, what other facilities may be on that road. And each thing has a weight to it. The number of houses on the road, and then a school would get so much weight, and then the condition of the road would get so much weight itself. Now, we train the counties to rate along those same lines so that we're not talking about two different things, but I guess we're the second pair of eyes that look at it, unbiased eyes that look at it. So we do go back and look at that road and make a physical rating out on the road on it and give it a numerical rating. And it definitely, sometimes it does change the number one priority to number three or something along those lines. Now, still, if the county comes back and they insist that they want that as number one, as long as it falls within our guidelines to resurface, we certainly.
It's a needed project.
Right, that's a needed project. We would not try to overrule that, but we go look at it with our people that look. We look district wide, so we got one person or two people looking throughout the entire district. So the same set of eyes looks at all those projects throughout the district. So, we have a more consistent rating from one group to another than they would have.
Because a lot of times, if you look at a road, the average eye like mine or the average person may think that road needs it more than the other one, but a lot of times it doesn't. Is that right?
Right.
Okay.
Anybody else? Commissioner Dent, I want to ask a question on contracts. I know I asked y'all in the big hearing last week about the contracts you had. I think it showed $8 million proposed for 07. How much in contracts do y'all have? That's where I was asking about the Department of Law. Is 100% of that for the Department of Law, or what other contracts are included in that? I guess it might be better if I got a list of the contracts. I think it was $8 million in 07. How much have we expended so far in 06?
It's a consultant contract. There can be a whole gamut of different kind of contracts that we deal with.
Would that include design of roads?
No.
Okay.
No, those would be charged back to the project. That cost is eligible to be reimbursed through the project itself.
Okay.
But we might do an evaluation, have a contract evaluating some aspect of our work that would be a contract that's not a specific project contract. Project contracts would be excluded out. We've been doing, you always are looking at yourself to get a second pair of eyes sometimes to make sure your process is correct. And we have done a lot of that in the past year under the leadership of our chairman. He has kind of challenged us to make sure we're doing business in the best fashion we can do it. And so we've had a lot of contracts through consultants to evaluate our hiring process on consultants, to make sure we're unbiased to all the consultants. We're looking now at our estimating process to make sure that the estimating process is done in the right manner. So those are the kind of contracts that are not tied to a specific project.
That funding, Commissioner Dent, where does it come from? Is it local sales tax? Is it part of the 3% sales tax we pay on fuel, or is that?
It's motor fuel.
All right. Is that federal motor fuel tax?
No, sir. That's state. Now,
Okay.
federal motor fuel would be in a federal project that we were designing, and those design costs by a consultant, those would be eligible to be reimbursed through some of the federal motor fuel tax. I think it's an 80-20 split. We pay 20% out of state motor fuel and 80% out of federal. We do about 65% of our design work through consultants today.
If I could get a list of what's in the contracts, you didn't have to be anything in depth, but it would help me understand it better. One of the other things I wanted to ask, in the budget items, Commissioner Dent, y'all pay personal services out of one section of motor fuel, and you pay most of it out of the federal motor fuel, if I remember right.
No, we pay almost all of it. The only thing that's not eligible is our transit programs. That's got to be 100% out of general fund money or either federal funds. Motor fuel pays a majority. Unless we have a designer working on a federal project, then he falls eligible just like the consultant would. We could pay 80% out of federal dollars and 20% out of state dollars.
So that's the 3% dedicated, correct?
That's the state motor fuel tax with the sales tax too. That's included in that as well.
Okay. Any other questions?
Thanks. Commissioner,
Yes,
the
sir.
$60 million that we're talking about, that's receipts over budget, is that typical for receipts over, or how does that compare to years past that you've seen?
No, that's. I think if you look back the last several years, we haven't had that kind of. We've had a steady climb in the last several years of the economy getting better and better, and so this is certainly a significant increase for us. It would vary from there down. I don't remember what the largest has ever been. 6 is the largest we've ever had. 60 is the largest we've ever had.
And these amended numbers are the governor's and the department's decisions on where the money should go.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I know we're in the budget, but they tell me when you have other questions to ask about the department, when you're talking about their budget, it's a good time. We talked last year about a project up my way, and it had some issues, and we worked through that. And I'm not going to use this as a bully pulpit to get on one project. But I did want to mention it while we're here, is to tell you how much we appreciate it after we had to get after that one a little bit, and to ask you for at a later date. I know you have some things in progress about working even more with our utilities out there to deliver better for the folks of Georgia, and just wanted to give you an opportunity when you have time to bring. I think this committee, I'm new to this committee, but I think they would appreciate the work y'all are doing to try to deliver on those projects for Georgia, better, faster, and on budget and on time. I'm interested personally in hearing how those things are coming along, and I think these folks would be as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I will add to that. We are challenged. We had a record year not only in receiving in the amended budget those funds, but we let $1.147 billion, which is a record for DOT ever, And I can tell you, as of the December letting, which is the first 6 months of this year, we let $812 million the first 6 months. We look like we're on track right now to do about $1.3 to $1.4 billion this year. And I say that because there's challenges, just like the representative says, that will come with that, with contractors doing work and in a timely fashion and utilities moving in a timely fashion. We're all going to be challenged to deal with those issues. And I can certainly tell you it has DOT dancing right now, because we've got a plate full just getting the projects delivered. And then you got the other end of that. We got about 40, somewhere right now, I think it's $8 to $10 billion under contract right now out there of work being done. So it's not just a simple thing of what we let this year. It's what we've got let for the last several years going too.
Anybody else? Okay, Commissioner Dent, we were going to meet again at 8 o'clock Friday morning. Hope that suits you and your schedule.
Friday morning?
Friday morning.
I thought that was y'all stay off.
Well, we're working on the budget, so.
Oh, okay. We'll be here.
Okay. Thank you for being here. Any other comments or, yes, sir, Mr. Forrester.
Mr. Chairman, I spoke earlier with the Toway Authority. She said that the Toway Authority was self-funded, yet in the 2007 budget it says payments to the State Road and Toway Authority of almost $47 million.
Yes, sir. That means that we issue bonds for them, and they're going to pay it back to us. We're the middle person.
Oh, okay. It's just sort of a pass-through.
That's all.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. I think she just went out the door. Here's her card. Any other comments from any members? Okay. All right. At this time, what we'll do, we're going to have a meet again in the morning at 8 o'clock, and I assume, is it in the same room here? Okay. It's in the same room here, and hope most of you can make it, and that ends this meeting. Thank you.